My family tries to absolutely sabotage my marriage because my wife works as a waitress. That's right, they're ashamed of her. Well, you know what? They don't need to be ashamed of her. They need to be ashamed of themselves because I'm done giving them money. Hello everyone, my apologies in advance. The story will be quite long, but I need to get this out of my system. So please bear with me. I'm Jack, 28 male, and I'm in love with my beautiful girlfriend Joy. This is my first serious relationship, and we both knew each other from high school, and we've been together for over a decade now. I work as a banker in a good farm, and she's a waitress in a diner. My income was pretty good, but I was not financially stable from the beginning. My parents were poor, my father was a garbage collector, and my mother was a housewife of 5 kids. I was the second oldest, and we were really poor. My dad, he had to work a lot of overtime just to bring food to the table for all of us. He worked day and night to put me and my siblings through school, and we simply had no money. And all of us wanted to have a little bit of a better life than we were living. I'm not ashamed because of it, but some of the siblings took the easy way, like stripping and just that to make money. I also started working part-time when I was 14 as a waiter. I was a good student, so I got a scholarship to a pretty good university. All of them stopped working when I got my big old job in a company with a salary. Joy also did not come from a well-to-do family. Her family was more financially stable than us, though, because Joy was their only child. Joy knew about me and my family for a long time. She knew that I was extremely poor, and she did not care about any of it. Her love for everyone in my family was unconditional. She even visited our house often, and my family liked her then. Probably because sometimes she used to give her savings from her part-time work and cover some other cost of my siblings' needs, even though I told her not to. She always used to motivate me to focus on my goal, and I will admit it 1,000 times that without her support, I could have never been here. Joy was a bright student too, but she never looked out for jobs like me, 'cause her passion was in art. We've been in a live-in relationship for over 5 years now, and I advised her not to do any kind of job and completely focus on her dream. But she just said that she at least needs to contribute some, which is why she is a part-time waitress in a dinner, and she works on her art in her free time. She had some income with her art too, but honestly it wasn't much. Not that I mind, I'm proud of her. I think art should not be judged by money. Everything sounds perfect, right? Well, in reality, it's not. My family's been through a lot, and I was the only breadwinner in the family as well, and I was happy to be a provider for them too, but there were many instances where they made me feel like I was obligated to serve them. Serving them was not bothersome to me, especially to my parents, but then having rights over my decision was a bit out of hand. I wouldn't have minded that they were the same as before when they were poor. Honestly, since I pulled the financial ladder up for my family, then they became strange. They became status freaks, the stereotypical ones. Now, when they see someone who does their jobs that they once used to do, they would scrunch their nose up like they were some sort of lowlife. It became normal for them. Their usual dinner-time gossip was full of who wore what and who looked cheap. I tried to protest their ill opinion at the beginning, but I thought that they were just trying to fit into society and going a bit overboard with it. It was so unusual for me that I stopped arguing with them, until it hit me one day when I realized their behavior towards my girlfriend had also changed. One night, we went for dinner with my family. Some of the rich friends of my siblings were also invited there. We were celebrating one of our siblings' birthdays, and when the bill came at dinner, we split it individually, excluding the birthday boy. I took the bill and covered for both me and my girlfriend. My sibling said something about how she was sitting there and letting me pay when everyone else was paying their part. I told them that she was still waiting for her salary in the diner, and I didn't mind paying for her, so why not? My mom commented, "Look at my girlfriend. Oh, you still work there?" The funny thing is, one of the waitresses at the diner across your street works for us sometimes when I hold kitty parties with my friends. Everyone went silent at her comment. None of them are dumb enough to understand what they're trying to imply. Then the comment from one of my sisters about my girlfriend being, quote, a lazy bum after my brother got the job, it came up and it irritated me. They were the ones who stopped looking for work altogether when I got the big job, not my girlfriend. So I just told them that she's doing more than her and, well, has been working on art, and it's a lot of potential once it's presented to an exposition. My sister gets angry at me and starts to fake cry. How she once sacrificed something that I don't even remember, and I'm thankful that my family was together when we were poor and lived through our poorness, but that does not permit them to say bad things about my girlfriend. Also, my girlfriend has been with me and them for over a decade now and helped them however she could. They should consider her as part of the family now, but they're suddenly acting like she's here with me, leeching and being a gold digger. Then my mother started to talk about how that it is not how a relationship is supposed to go, and she needs to do something meaningful, and said art is just a phase that she'll be leeching on me for a long time. I didn't care about those comments. I snapped at them, saying I needed support in my worst time, and I got one, and I'll do anything to support her dream. I also made it clear that being a waitress is not anything bad. No job is low or high, it's the mindset. After saying all that, I left some tips on the table for the waitress and left with my girlfriend. I know my mom would create a scene after that, but I have my limits too. Just as I thought, the next day, my sister calls me and said how I was such an a-hole, how I was rude to my mother in front of my brother's friends, and I should be ashamed because she's feeling so low now for getting attacked by her own son for a waitress. I cut the call before saying that as long as they call my girlfriend by her occupation instead of her name like it was to make me feel low or something, I'm not talking to them. After a few days, they called me and apologized, and my girlfriend also convinced me to apologize to my mother, as she is my mother and elderly, and she should, we should respect her. Things were normal after that. My siblings also just used to call me and contact me only when they needed money, and so did my mother. We did not talk about the incident after the apology, and I wanted them to apologize to my girlfriend as well. But she calmed me down, saying they're also adjusting, so I should give them a bit of time. After a few days, we were doing a regular visit to our family after my work hours. When we entered the house, Mom greeted me and let us in. We were about to go upstairs, but Mom stopped Joy and told her to join in the kitchen and help the head chef make snacks for the party that she was having in a few hours, and also told her to serve them as one of her friends is coming from Paris and Joy has the experience of a waitress. Joy was feeling very uncomfortable with the statement, and I told her that she did not have to do that. But being the good girl she is, she agreed. One thing I noticed after I got my job is that my mom never personally invited Joy to join the family dinners. We always thought that we were close enough that inviting me was the same as inviting her. We always thought Mom knew that we were planning our future together. I mean, anyone in my family should see it. We're literally always together, but both of us got the shock of a lifetime when in one of those family dinners, Mom blurted out that one of her friend's daughters is interested in me, and she also thinks we should be together. We were too shocked to even comment on it. When I found my senses, I looked at Joy, and she was fighting to keep the tears from falling. Yep, it absolutely broke my heart to see her like that, and I scream at them, saying, "We've been together for a decade, Mom." They've known her for years as well. How can they suggest I be with someone else with my girlfriend sitting right in front of them? Come on. Well, I did not wait for the response. I just left. I have not answered my calls to any person who has simply tried to call me, and I'm held up in my apartment for the moment, and I don't want to see any of their faces. All the anger I had worked so hard to put behind me is back. But with all the texts that I've been receiving from my family calling things like I'm a fool for not even considering the offer and my mom only thinks best for me, blah blah blah. Well, I also got some text and apologies, and I'm sure those are the ones who need money at the moment. I'm getting bitter about them, and I can't help it. I don't know anything anymore, as I cannot trust myself with what I'm capable of thinking or feeling at the moment for my family. I'm losing it. Can you guys help me, or maybe just give me a few suggestions, because I'm totally at a loss right now. I feel like I don't even know them anymore. I'm planning to propose to my girlfriend anytime soon. Well, what if they don't let me? What should I actually do? I can tell Joy is getting depressed nowadays because of the negligence that she's getting from my family, and I cannot abandon my family as well. They did many bad things, but every time they apologized afterward, I felt like they were my responsibility. I also do want their blessing, you know. Should I tell them before I propose to her? Let me know. Update number 1. Hello again. Good to see how many people were interested in my post. I thought I was the only one struggling with the issue, but so many of you have shared your stories, and I don't know. It somehow gave me a lot of comfort. Someone in the comments said that I'm taking my girlfriend's side and abandoning my family, who were with me in the beginning. It's not true. I understand that they're trying to adjust to a certain class of society, but that doesn't mean cutting off ties with someone who's like a family to them. We were poor. Joy helped us on many occasions with her own savings because she was somewhat from a well-to-do family than we were. However, some suggested that I should start talking with them only when they genuinely are apologizing to me and my lover. Well, they did. Mom came to my place and apologized to both of us. Everything was good after that for a few months, and we used to go to my parents' house occasionally and enjoy dinner and have a quality life together. I was planning to propose to Joy for a few months now, and I thought, as they were good with me and her, I should ask for their suggestions. So one day, I went to my parents' house without Joy to discuss it. I gathered everyone in the family in the living room and expressed my plan to propose to Joy in front of them. I asked them to give me advice to make it successful. Everyone's face fell off. All of them looked unimpressed with my idea, and after a moment of silence, my sister opened her mouth, saying, "You are not serious, are you?" I told them, "Oh, I'm very serious." They were totally against it, and my mom started crying, saying, "Why do you hate me so much? And now I won't be able to face any of my friends." I reminded them of our long history together and questioned their sudden surprise. Well, their response was embedded in financial position, and that angered me. I stressed the need for a mindset change and left their house in frustration. That same day, I proposed to my girlfriend in our shared home, and she joyfully accepted, and we celebrated the moment with a small vacation. When we went back to our usual routine, we decided to start our wedding planning little by little. We used to work during the daytime, and after work we used to spend on planning and arranging our wedding. I called my mom and told her that we're engaged now, and without waiting for any reply, I just cut the call. I knew that she would not have anything positive to say, and I didn't want to hear any negativity. After a few days, Joy's parents called her to visit them. I wanted to join her to share our news together, but she said her parents specifically told her only to visit. I decided to work overtime in the meantime. Then, out of nowhere, Joy calls off the wedding, urging me not to contact her. Well, despite her request, I insisted on meeting face-to-face, and finally, after much persuasion, her family allowed it. It turned out my family had influenced her decision, threatening to make me choose between them and her. She didn't want to strain my family ties, so she backed out for my sake. The next few days, I spent convincing my fiancé and her family. I told them that she was the only positive part of my miserable life, and I could not let her go. It would kill me, and the fear of not having her was already killing me. After lots of tries, they were convinced, and we were back together again. I went to my family's house to confront them, and they started explaining that the woman I married should at least earn more than half of what he earns and have a job that's not embarrassing to say to others. I asked them to leave their greedy mindset and give her a chance. They gave me an ultimatum to either leave them or her, and of course I will choose her. If they're going to accept me, they have to accept her as well. So, all this happened a few days ago, and my mom's trying to make me feel guilty, asking me how I could leave her so abruptly for a woman. Well, I'm planning to resume my wedding planning soon, and I'm also thinking about not inviting them. Please let me know what you would do and if I'm in the right here. Update number 2. Hey, it's been a couple of months and I'm here again with a more confusing and angry rant. My parents and other members of the family tried to call me after I chose my fiancé after them. They were angry at first, trying to blame me for leaving them like that and also blaming Joy for manipulation. When I stopped answering their calls, they absolutely flooded me with text. I blocked them in the process, and I was too busy with my work and wedding preparations to mind them and their bias towards low-middle-class society. When they realized I had blocked contact with every one of them, they convinced one of my cousins who excused herself by saying that she was busy. So, in the end, after a few days, probably after realizing this way they would not get money from me, they showed up at my house. It was a few days before our marriage. Our house was full of decorative stuff, and my mom entered and started crying because I was getting married and they were not invited. They asked me, and the tone was like they were holding me accountable for not inviting them and leaving them out of everything. So I asked, how in the world could I invite them when they did not even accept her and our relationship? They were silent, and after a few moments they said that they did a lot of thinking and decided to accept her as their daughter-in-law. Joe's eyes brightened up at the comment, and I could tell that she was secretly depressed for days. However, I told them that I would discuss everything with Joy, and then we would tell them if they were welcome or not, and it was Joy who was left out and manipulated by all of this. They told me to ask her right at this moment, and I told them that I don't want to pressure her. They were angry, of course, but they were left after that as they realized they could not do anything after that. I told Joy that they were acting suspicious, and she didn't want them to be there. Well, I won't invite them if she doesn't. I told her that there's nothing to feel guilty about, as even though they are my parents and family, they were mean to us both. They were ignorant of our happiness, and Joy, on the other hand, had convinced me that they are accepting her now, and if they don't get invited, then the relationship will turn sour, and she doesn't want that. She wants both of our families together with just happiness and a special day. So the next day I called them and invited them to the wedding. Everything was ready for the wedding to happen, and it was just the day before. We decided to spend it lazily before our big day, but suddenly the cousin I told about before called me and told me that my family was paying a guy to ruin our wedding in front of everyone. She said she didn't know what the plan was, but she heard her mother talking about it with Auntie. I knew something would happen. They've turned into monsters because of their greed, and I asked her if she could manage to give the contact info of the guy they hired. She said she would try and get back to me as soon as possible. After about half an hour, she gave me the number of the guy. I straight up went to meet him, and I told him that I would give him double the money that they were offering to disclose their plans and work for me instead. He said they paid him to stay in front of everyone that Joy was cheating on me with them. Yeah, that's not a surprise to me, but I'm devastated by their ways. Enough is enough, I'll make them pay for it, I've decided. To have a little conversation with Joy about it, and she's been hopeful about them finally accepting her. I need to tell her the truth. And she has to be prepared as well. I'll let you guys know what exactly happens. Update number 3. Hey guys, this is actually the end of my updates. Sorry it took a few days to get my update out. I was trying to find a time to write everything down elaborately and could not get the time out exactly. Well, here we are on a Hawaiian beach for the honeymoon, and I thought this would be the absolute perfect time. Well, to give you an update. People who are new here, let me tell you what happened really quick. So, the day before my wedding, I got to know that my parents and the rest of the family had planned to sabotage my wedding because they could not digest the fact that my wife is a waitress in a diner. They thought that they would hire a guy and he could just tell the whole crowd that my fiancé's been cheating on me, and it might break off our marriage. But thanks to my cousin who informed me beforehand, I discussed everything with Joy and told her to be prepared for anything, and I assured her that I would fix it. I hired the guy that they hired for twice the amount of money that they hired him for to expose them, and also give him all the information about them and the wrongdoings that they've been doing to Joy. So, my wedding day, it came, and all of our guests arrived, including my family. Oh man, they looked so happy. If I didn't know about their evil plan, I could have mistaken it for genuine happiness. But behind their smile, they were waiting for the drama. When we were about to exchange our vows as we had planned, the guy stood up. My family, they were smirking at the sight, but got shocked when the guy started saying and pointing towards them that they were the ones who gave him money to lie that Joy cheated on their son with me and tried to sabotage the wedding, all because she's a waitress and they were embarrassed by her profession. The guy also said how they went to her parents' house to threaten to stop the wedding. Everyone was looking at them and booing, and they were so embarrassed that they could not even look up from their seats. I called my mom asking why she did it, and she was speechless. They never thought that they were going to get played like that, and they were embarrassed because they got caught in front of their, quote, high-class friends. Not because of what they did to us. Everyone was booing and talking crap about them. I mean, call me evil, but I was satisfied with the sight. They deserved all of this for not understanding what genuine love is. Joy, on the other hand, was crying because of the overwhelming drama, so I comforted her. My mom came towards us and tried to apologize, but it was so new to me. I know they don't mean it. I told them to get out of my wedding. Other guests were encouraging them to get out as well. They realized that they did not have the upper hand, so they left, heads hanging low in defeat. And after that, well, we resumed the wedding and it went well, and my life could never be better. But let me ask you this. At what point throughout my story do you think you would have cut off your family? Let me know.